us now is public affairs analyst Razak Olukoba. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Razak.
Happy Independence.
Yes, exactly. Same to you. We're still in the season.
Okay, that greeting is still effective today?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Oh, really?
In the whole of October, you can still say Happy Independence.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Now, Razak, the fight against corruption, when the president came in, a lot of people, it was like a default. Nigerians just felt, okay, fine, new sheriff in town, the fight against corruption, certainly he has the integrity, the president has the integrity and all of that. But along the line, a lot of persons saw that the body language of the government was not as strong as the perception when he came in. What do you say?
Well, there shouldn't be any time we shouldn't be talking about corruption. Transparency International has been documenting list of corrupt nations since 1995 till date. And I think they might top the list of the less corrupt country, corruption-free country. I think they're number 1 now. So in Nigeria, the definition of Nigeria all over the world before Buhari came in was actually corruption. That's one of the most corrupt nations in the world where nothing works. Nothing works because if you define corruption is making use of public power for private use, either public money, either public access for personal benefit. So, and if you look at that, it applies to what is happening in Nigeria. At the time of employment, you will discover that procedures are not followed. If you want to do allocation of government facilities are not followed, including private money that ended up in private pockets. You must feel for people who felt that the pace is slower. But the person who wears the shoe knows the pace at which it should go. For me, you can't be fighting corrupt people in APC, fighting corrupt people in Daura, fighting in PDP, fighting everywhere. And you think you are going to fighting in PDP, fighting everywhere. And you think you are going to end up well. Because there's a reaction when you fight corruption. A president in one of the African countries has suspended the parliament just yesterday because they slowed down the corruption fight. So in Nigeria too, you have a lot of things that we have to sort out. First and foremost are the people. We must make up our mind because in Nigeria, changes begins with you, not me, when I want to talk about changes. So all areas of our life, you find this corruption, either low-scale corruption or high-scale corruption. But we don't want to give up. If you are looking for admission, so we must first make up our mind, then the institutions.
Yeah, yes,
talking about the judiciary, talking about the parliament, then the executive. The government must drive it.
That's where I am going.
And when the blame is coming, it comes to the executive. But when
I have to cut in now because that's where I am going to now. Because if you say that, because the way the president put it when he came in was that we are going to push this. And it was not about whether the capacity, if we had to fight in Daura, or it was about the capacity to do so. He made it seem like we are going to drive this war. And then there are institutions, the ICPC, the EFCC, the judiciary. Yeah. Are you saying that we don't have the capacity to fight this war wherever these people are?
I'm saying that the fight against corruption is not about the president and the executive alone. It's also about all other arms of government. And all other arms of government must be ready to move at the same pace with the executive. That's the point I'm making. And the point I'm making, flowing from that, you discover that there are cases in court up to today. That is no longer under the control of the executive. In the point of view of the judiciary, nothing has been done about it. And above all, Nigerians must realize that every government policy, little did the government have to do. We must take ownership of it. We must drive it. Today, if you say that the salaries of the parliament must come down, if you resolve the entire Nigerian resolve, it will come down. But they are not happy about it. But it's a different type of government. So Nigerians must also be part of the process. I have been in court on several occasions mobilizing people that these are public funds. Let's join them.
Razak, the argument is that in all of those, government is like the God, the physical God that you can see here on earth for every country. Yeah. And the executive is not the only government because the judiciary and the legislature are all arms. But the point there is that the executive is the arrowhead that drives all of it. You can't force them, but the point there is there are mechanisms for influencing them.
The role they play makes it because they implement policy. So it makes it to look as if they are the arrowhead. when blames will come, it will definitely come to the people who drive it.
But isn't that how it is?
But the point I'm making is that to cook, if the fire is not burning, I want to eat is what concerns the person who is hungry. Whether the stove is not working,
but
the
we
gas
must
is not
blame
working.
the chef.
Whether the apparatus, whether the other apparatus are not working, you go back to the executive. But let us realize that you must go to a point where we must know the capacity your government can go. That is the missing link with us in Nigeria. This is the capacity, this structure. We can't go beyond this capacity. If you go drive it beyond this capacity, look at what is happening. Look at the discovery.
Is this an admittance that the government has failed?
Government has not failed.
All right.
What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is in essence is that let us join the executive to drive other apparatus of government, other arms of government, like the judiciary. There are cases in court up to today that has not seen the light of the day.
All right.
So
we have to leave it here.
We have to leave it there. The conversation will definitely
No, of
continue.
course, it will go on. It will go
Absolutely.
on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
on
you.
TVC
It's a pleasure.
Breakfast.
Right. Joining us in the studio now is the public affairs analyst, Razak Olokoba. Razak, good morning.
thank you. Good
Nice
morning.
to see you.
And happy October.
Exactly. Happy Independence. Interesting. Now, at the inception of this government, they talked about the, in fact, there were reports credited to the president at the time when he said that the judiciary was actually slowing the fight against corruption down. And he wanted the establishment of special courts to fight corruption. But till now, after his first term and he has gotten the second term, the special courts to fight corruption has not been able to be established. Does that underscore the inadequacy of government to, run through with strong policies like that?
Duplications of offices, we have always warned this government against it. What are the reasons why the previous agencies are not working? That's what we should investigate instead of duplicating offices. And like we have said, there are challenges in the fight against corruption because it is an organized crime. It has become an institution. But beyond that, if there are heavy consequences and penalties, people will stay away from it. As easy as it is to corrupt, as easy as it is to abuse collective patrimony of our people, of the nation, you run away from it. So the only way out of it, because the structure does not help the matter, and we can't wait until we have a better structure before we penalize people who have been toying with our fund. There must be heavy consequences. Dasuki is there, and there are other governors and senators who are, it requires courage to do so. And that is the only area that I agree with people that
the issue of
there
courage
must be every consequence. Well, has the courage, but the courage that if it fights back, the fear that what do they have in their possession to fight me back is part of the reason why the government slows down at times. Would they say, I'm a Baba go slow?
But should the government be concerned about such things?
It's a selective fight. Would they say this way? So those are, but for my own calculation, that's a part of the calculation why it's
But
should the government be concerned?
No. It shouldn't be considered. Should be considered that. But if you find yourself in a situation where the people we are fighting have a capacity to sabotage your government, you will think twice. And that is the area. Yes, you will think twice. And that is what is happening at the moment. So what we should do at the moment is for the people. I said at every forum that there must be that blank check that we should give to Buhari that if you fight corruption, we know they will fight you back. We know they will call us short of it. We know they will be blackmailed. We must demonstrate that we are going to stand with
have
you.
we not given him all our checks?
Happened.
Have we not given the president of the government the entire checkbook already? Not even talking about
you are
blank
still
check.
retaining
But
one
then-
behind. And the one you are retaining behind is that social movement.
Now, that's
The
where I am
parliament
going
is
to.
earning so much big money. No protest, no rally, no demonstration, nothing. They are still having the money up to
That
today.
is where I am going to, because if you say there are no heavy consequences and the government is holding back, the people will not be afraid. Because if you are saying you are fighting corruption and the people are not even in awe of when they even hear names like the EFCC or ICPC, how then are we going to inculcate that attribute of being corrupt-free?
Yeah, I am not saying that the people have not done their best, but we need to do more. This kind of fight, if you are rebuilding a nation, it requires a clear understanding from the people. And that clear understanding is that the benefit people get from mismanaging our country is not a small thing, it's a big thing. So for you to send a message to them that I'm not joking with you requires a lot of will And that will does not end with the government alone. It also extends to the people.
Yeah, but it
we
starts,
must
but
understand.
It starts with the government, because the government is the one who will inspire and galvanize the people towards
it. What the government will do to unite it is on already. What you must realize is that the blackmail that will follow, the reaction that will follow, we must be ready to be on the side of the government, because
government on the other hand has to be the one to tell the people.
For instance,
now Razak,
let me give you an example.
Razak, the point there is, let me draw your attention to some instances. We remember the Ikoyi Gate, which everyone said, oh, till now we have not seen the decisive direction of government in that regard.
People?
Are you talking
the
about
northeast, the grass cutting contract of the northeast?
There are two things to that. There are two things. One of it is that judiciary. You have to question the judiciary. That's one. Two, the second angle to it is the people. Government will do what is the most convenient for them to make you happy. If they think it is the road, if they think it is the power, it is the people that will set the priority that, no, okay, no, this is fine, but we want our money back. Particularly the situation we find ourselves, the people must be at alert. There must be that vigilance that if you slow down in the fight against corruption, the people must always be.
That is why the nickname Baba Go Slow from people even came up in the first place,
and
because they were impatient. They wanted government to do something more.
Not by talking only.
Yeah.
By being on the street. I led a protest last week. It was on the major newspapers against the previous government of Lagos, against Governor Ambode. I led a protest. I should be expecting more protests that EFCC should conclude what they are doing. State Parliament should conclude what they are doing. There should be such a replica of protests in Abuja every day for salary cut of the Parliament, for outcome of corrupt cases.
We remember Showore who talked about...
those are price for freedom. We'll be in jail, to be in detention too. So he will be released one day. And I also join the call for his release.
That is why people are not on the same page with government sometimes.
Absolutely.
Because the point there is that there are proper channels of handling this thing. And when the government is perceived to be intolerant about people just speaking,
so how would they support government? Like that? But then we have to leave it.
We have been in worse cases.
We'll keep talking about this.
We'll leave it here now. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much, Razak Olokoba, for your insight into this. Thank you.
Well, joining us now is Public Affairs Analyst Razak Olokoba. Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you.
Now, in looking forward at this time, the President in his speech yesterday talked about the fact that the Ministry of Justice, the ICPC, the AFCC will continue to address this menace of corruption. But there are concerns raised that these same ministries are working at cross purposes most of the time. So how do we strengthen these ministries individually to ensure that this purpose of the government is achieved in terms of fighting corruption?
Well, at the inception, we have pointed out that it's a duplication. ICPC, EFCC is a duplication. What we should rather do is to look at the enabling laws that says if you commit social crime, this is the penalty. Why are those laws not working? That is what we should look at. The structural issue, the challenges that we are having, why are they not working? Not creating more agencies, because before you know it now, you'll be talking about more agencies. And that's not how to run a nation. The best thing to do is to look at the challenge we have. Why is it difficult to send people who stole our money to jail? Those are things we should look at. And that's the area that I think we should be looking at. First, the executive should have a more push for the judiciary. That if I give you work to do, as an arm of government, I don't have control over it, but Nigerians will definitely come back to the executive with that ICPC, EFCC, the Justice Department has not done anything. So there should be other push for the judiciary. Then the judiciary must also realize that there are accusing fingers at the judiciary that they have been found wanting repeatedly, which is led to the exit of Onoge. Then the third arm of government has not even demonstrated anything that they want to queue into the anti-corruption fight, which is the Parliament. The Parliament has not made any serious law to indicate that they are not happy about the state of corruption in Nigeria. And above all, Nigerians must put all the apparatus of offices on their toes, the executive, the judiciary, and the Parliament, because that is what will determine the mood and the pace.
How should they put this apparatus on their toes, or these ministries on their toes?
When cases are in court and lying low, you have a right as a Nigerian to bring it up. you can bring it up, you can start a social movement to make demands. Demands must be made at all time by
But we've
the people.
seen how this movement have gone.
No, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. The stage we are in Nigeria is a stage where Nigerians must constantly be on the move, making demands every day, because there are so much challenges that surrounding us.
Despite the consequences.
There's no consequence for demanding for a better Nigeria.
What should be the confidence? Is being held?
You know, the Shore's case is a peculiar case.
Really?
Yes, it's a peculiar case.
Then all the journalists also who were held at one point or the other, they were also all peculiar cases.
Like what? Agba Jalingo, like the case of Agba Jalingo, are cases that people like us fell for. And that's what I'm saying, that if you're thinking about the arrest of Agba Jalingo, thinking about arrest of a journalist, and sitting in your comfort zone thinking Nigeria will call, it's not going to work like that too. And it is not necessary to be on the street to do so. There are social medias, and there are other styles and patterns of asking questions and putting government on their toes, which I think we should be doing. So if you do that, like the case of Dasuki, why is Dasuki not in jail up to now? Why is not sentenced up to now? There should be more questions. We are 200 million people. Let 1 million Nigerians be asking questions about corruption every day and demonstrating support for the government in terms of whether they have limitations.
All right, there are instances where there's the talk about the collaboration of Nigerians with foreigners, sometimes to even defraud the country. Part of PNID, the lot of reports that we're hearing, even though the case is still ongoing, is that there was some kind of Nigerians collaborating with foreign partners or friends or whatever it is to defraud the country one way or the other. They've called it a scam and so on. And we expect that heads should roll by now. For instance, like a case like PNID and several other cases that are pending there.
You know, I said that there are visible limitations and challenges that the government might have. You see, when you have a case where government fund moves from World Bank and ended in a private pocket, government will exercise some restraint that World Bank is an institution that I must fight. So, and these are the areas of challenge that I think Nigerians must also be with the government, because at the appropriate moment, when government takes on World Bank, there will be backlash and consequences. But moments like that, we must not look back. The money stolen from Nigeria, people kept stealing it because they know they have somewhere to take the money to. The day the door is shut on stolen money all over the world, there will be nowhere to take the money to again. So I agree with you and many Nigerians that the foreign collaborator must also be one. And it is not a one-off thing. It should be a constant reminder to World Bank, Paris Club, London Club, all the agencies that are responsible for keeping monies all over the world. It should be a continuous thing.
Razak Olukoba, thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you.